Over the past few years, e-cigarettes have flooded our markets, being advertised as a safe alternative to smoking cigarettes. But cases of lung disease and even deaths have begun to surface, now prompting President Trump to demand the FDA to finally step in and ban flavored vapes. Legal journalist Molly Barrows is with me to talk about it. This is a big story. As a matter of fact, this major litigation that's getting ready to start, we're actually launching that litigation in Las Vegas at the annual meeting, biannual meeting that takes place with lawyers who specialize in these kinds of cases. Give me your take on it. It's not an overreaction at all that Trump should go ahead and say these flavored cigarette vapes need to come off the market.
Right. I agree. I mean, that's a great reaction. What really needs to be addressed is the marketing rules that need to be tightened up in regards to how these companies like Juul are allowed to deliberately market to children. Because that's the basis of the litigation that the Levitt Papantonio firm is pursuing, along with some other law firms that basically say they took the model from big tobacco and said, we've got a product here that we can market as relatively safer than perhaps traditional combustible cigarettes, but we're going to flavor it and we're going to make it easily consumed and appealing to young people. And that's why you see such a huge market. The Juul company owns the market, dominates the market when it comes to kids and vaping. So marketing rules need to be tightened up. I think that would be a better response from Trump.
I don't think it's going to.
It's not as sexy.
I don't think it's going to do it. When you come out with flavors like Marty Mango, Goofy Grape, Ollie Ollie Orange.
Right.
That's like, and even the way they market it, where do they put it in the store? Right. Kids can see it. Look, we've been through this before. We went through this on the tobacco cases. We actually started the tobacco litigation right here in this law firm. And so when we saw what they did there, here's what the tobacco industry was trying to do back then. They did studies and they said if we can addict a child by the time they're 14 to our brand of cigarettes,
we can own them forever.
We can own the brand forever. Okay, these are the same people.
Yes.
Understand, all they've done, now we're talking about a different product, but it's the same ghouls that are making these decisions.
Yes.
And here's what they know. Unfortunately, in the vaping industry, it's almost become a cult. They'll have vaping contests that you go online and who can make the biggest vape.
A culture of vaping.
No,
everything that you do, whether you're socializing or working, you can have it around with you.
But it's worse than that. It is a cult. When we do stories on vaping, the cult comes out because the industry has marketed so well. Now, what are the problems that we're seeing? What are we seeing with it?
Well, we're seeing unexplained deaths. Of course, that's been the real concern now. You have 6 deaths so far. You have a number of cases of different types of lung disease that they believe are associated with vaping. And because it's relatively new on the market with the past 10 years, there's not a lot of research. They don't know exactly what is causing it, if it's certain chemicals. Because even though it's been marketed as a safer alternative than combustible cigarettes, you're still talking about inhaling highly addictive substances like nicotine, as well as these other chemicals that are used in the process of delivering that chemical to you. And so those are the problems, something called popcorn lung.
Right. Well, name it. Here's the point. The argument is, well, you know what? It won't kill you like cigarettes. It's crazy. Yes, it will.
It's a slower, more fun death.
Yeah, the cigarettes, regular cigarettes may take 30 years, but now we're actually seeing changes, physical, anatomical changes within the respiratory system that is taking place with people who vape. And so, the cult wants to ignore it and say this isn't a problem. Okay, kids are having seizures. They're developing restrictive airway disease.
Yes.
This is diagnosed. This doesn't take 30 years to develop. And the worst thing about it, the thing that really is the angst here, is you actually had the CEO of Juul come out and basically admit, this is a problem. Kids shouldn't vape.
Right.
At the time he says that, everything he does contrary to that to market his product is completely different.
Well, so that's why when the Trump administration says we're going to do everything that we can to protect people, especially kids, and we're going to start by removing flavored vapes off the market, to me, that's just such a, yes, it's knee-jerk. Yes, it's some sort of a reaction that at least says, hey, what's happening to our kids is wrong. But again, why can't we address the root of the problem? Why can't we get in there and say, hey, it's our own lawmakers that are affecting and allowing these marketing rules to allow these companies to openly lie like that?
Well, most of the time, you always see the FDA at the heart of the problem, and they are here.
Right.
They're slowly reacting only because they, again, Time after time, the FDA is shamed.
Right.
People have to die. People have to get sick. The media has to write about it. The regulator has to be called out and said, why don't you do your job?
Right.
Ultimately, the FDA gets around to it. In this situation, again, they waited too long. No regulations. Any mom and pop organization can start a vape store and sell whatever they want to sell. So this story has just begun. After Vegas, there's going to be some major litigation that takes place here.
Right. Thanks, Pat.
Thanks for joining me.
Every year, 1 million hernia surgeries are performed in the United States. Unfortunately, some mesh implants that are used in these surgeries have caused complications, including infection and organ damage that led to surgeries to correct those problems. If this has happened to you, learn more about the hernia mesh lawsuit by going online to hernia.law or call us for a free consultation about your legal rights.